Everyone wants success, but most people are chasing a lie. You're told to hustle harder, stay positive, and follow your passion. But what if those aren't the keys to winning? What if the real truths about success are hidden beneath the noise, the kind of truths nobody tells you until it's too late? Success isn't what Instagram makes it out to be. It's not always sexy, fast, or loud. The real path, it's raw, it's messy, it's often boring, but it works. Today I'm pulling back the curtain to reveal the 5 truths nobody tells you about success. Truths that will either wake you up or set you free. Let's get into it. Number 1. Success is not a feeling, it's a system. 600 words. Most people think success is about getting fired up. They believe motivation is the fuel, passion is the engine, and when they feel ready, they'll finally start building the life they want. But here's the harsh truth. If you wait until you feel like it, you'll wait forever. Because success isn't built on how you feel, it's built on what you do. Not once, not occasionally, but repeatedly. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need to feel a surge of inspiration every morning. What you need is a system, a structure, a routine that carries you when you're tired, uninspired, or downright discouraged. James Clear said it best in Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. That one sentence can change your entire life because it reframes success from something emotional to something mechanical. Think about the gym. Everyone feels pumped up on January 1st. The energy is high, the resolutions are fresh. But come February, most people are gone. Why? Because they were relying on a feeling. They had no system in place to support their goals. Compare that to someone who trains 3 days a week, no matter what, rain or shine, tired or energized, happy or stressed. That person will outperform 99% of people who rely on motivation. Why? Because they don't need to feel like it. Their system makes the decision for them. Now apply that to any area of life. Want to write a book? Don't wait for inspiration. Set a system. Write 500 words a day at 7 a.m., no matter what. Want to save money? Don't just try harder. Automate a weekly transfer to savings. Want to eat better? Don't rely on willpower at 6 p.m. Build a system, meal prep on Sundays. Here's the kicker. Systems reduce decision fatigue, and that's a game changer. When you have to decide whether to work out, write, study, or practice each day, you open the door to excuses. I'm tired, I don't have time. I'll do it tomorrow. But when the system decides for you, you eliminate friction. You just show up. Successful people aren't more disciplined by nature. They're more structured by design. They've built environments and habits that carry them when their energy dips. They don't wait for a spark. They build a fire that burns daily, even if it's small. Here's a simple truth. The more your success depends on your emotions, the less likely you are to achieve it. Emotions are temporary. Systems are stable. That's why you need to stop chasing highs and start designing routines. Ask yourself, what is my goal? What system can I build that guarantees I move closer to it daily? How can I make that system so simple I can do it even on my worst days? Because that's the standard you need to win. Not maximum effort once in a while, but consistent effort no matter what. And here's the beautiful part. Systems don't just deliver results, they create momentum. When you show up daily, even in small ways, you start to believe in yourself. You stop breaking promises to yourself. And that internal trust, that's the real fuel of long-term success. So if you want to win, don't chase a feeling, build a system. Set the time, create the space, do the reps, every single day. Because in the end, success isn't an emotional rut. It's a quiet, consistent rhythm, a machine you build once and run for life. Number 2, consistency beats intensity. 600 words. If you want to build something that lasts, whether it's a business, a body, or a legacy, stop chasing intensity. Stop thinking success is about massive effort in short bursts. That's a trap. The real winners in life play a different game. They don't just go hard, they go long. And they understand one powerful truth. Consistency beats intensity every single time. Intensity is exciting. It feels powerful. It gives you the illusion of progress. You pull an all-nighter, you crush a workout, you go on a productivity spree. But here's the problem. Intensity is unsustainable. It fades, it burns hot and dies fast. You don't need more highs, you need habits that stick. When the motivation is gone, let's say you want to learn a new skill, like playing guitar. You could spend 10 hours practicing once a month. Or you could practice for 30 minutes every day. Who's going to get better faster? The answer is obvious. It's not the person who goes all out once in a while. It's the one who shows up, day after day, stacking reps, building muscle memory, and making progress even when it feels slow. This is the compound effect in action. Small efforts, repeated daily, lead to massive results over time. But because the payoff isn't immediate, most people quit. They chase the rush instead of the result. They want to feel productive, not be productive. James Clear said, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. That means every small action, no matter how minor, counts. It accumulates, it multiplies, and before you know it, those tiny efforts create big shifts. You just have to stay in the game long enough to let them work. Think about your health. One intense workout won't change your body, but 100 small workouts over the next few months, that changes everything. One clean meal won't transform your energy, but choosing healthy food consistently over time will. The same goes for relationships. finances, creativity, every area of life. It's not about going hard, it's about going often. The magic of consistency is that it creates momentum. You start to identify as someone who shows up. You become reliable to yourself. You stop relying on bursts of energy and start building real discipline. And the more consistent you are, the less effort it takes. It becomes who you are, not just what you do. Now let's be real. Consistency isn't always exciting. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes you feel like nothing is happening. But that's the moment most people quit, right before the breakthrough. You have to trust the process. You have to commit to the reps, even when there's no applause, no instant reward, and no visible progress. The difference between average and extraordinary? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's doing the work when you don't feel like it. It's being consistent when everyone else is looking for shortcuts. So ask yourself, what are you doing daily to move closer to your goals? Not what you intend to do, not what you do when life is perfect. What are you doing consistently on the bad days, the tired days, the distracted days? Because that's who you really are. Your consistency defines your future. Your routines shape your results. You don't need to crush every day. You just need to win today, and then win again tomorrow. One brick at a time. That's how you build anything worth having. Remember this: intensity makes a great story. Consistency makes a great life. Choose wisely. Number 3. Boredom is your friend. 600 words. Let's be honest, no one tells you this part. The truth is, success is often boring. It's not glamorous. It's not thrilling. It's repetitive, quiet, and routine. And that's exactly why most people never achieve it. Because the moment boredom shows up, they quit. They mistake that boredom for failure. But the people who win, they know something the rest of the world ignores. Boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is a sign that you're doing it right. We live in a culture addicted to stimulation. New goals, new strategies, new workouts, new diets. Everyone's chasing variety, but variety doesn't create mastery. Repetition does. Boredom is the cost of excellence. It's the price you pay for greatness. If you can't tolerate doing the same thing over and over, you'll never break through to the next level. Think about an elite athlete, a world-class musician, a top-performing entrepreneur. What do they all have in common? They repeat the basics until they are second nature. The best don't dabble. They drill, they practice, they refine, they do the same moves, the same tasks, the same rituals, sometimes for years. And while the rest of the world is chasing novelty, they're building mastery. Here's the twist. Boredom doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're on the edge of progress. When a habit becomes boring, that's when it starts becoming automatic. That's when your brain stops resisting and starts adapting. That's when the real transformation happens. Not with fireworks, but with quiet, persistent effort. James Clear said, "The greatest threat to success is not failure, but boredom." Because boredom leads to the search for something new. And that's when we break the system that was actually working. How many times have you switched plans just because things felt stale? How many goals have you abandoned? Not because they weren't possible, but because you got tired of the grind. We have to flip the script. Boredom is not a red light, it's a green one. It means your system is in place. It means your actions are becoming automatic. And it means you're moving from effort to identity. You're not just doing the thing, you're becoming the kind of person who does the thing. This is the turning point where average people stop, and successful people lean in. When the excitement wears off, and the results are still invisible, that's when it matters most. That's when the real separation happens. Winners push through the plateau. They keep showing up. They embrace the repetition, the silence, the lack of applause. They do the work anyway. So how do you use boredom as fuel instead of fear? First, expect it. Don't be surprised when the routine gets dull. Welcome it. See it as a sign of discipline. Second, stop needing everything to be exciting. Make peace with the mundane. Remember that boring work, done well, leads to brilliant results. And third, build in reflection. Remind yourself why you started. The goal may still be far away, but the process is working. If you let it. The difference between temporary effort and long-term excellence. Your ability to tolerate the boredom that greatness requires. Anyone can be excited at the beginning. It's easy to be fired up when the journey is fresh. But the ones who stay the course, the ones who find meaning in the mundane, those are the ones who win. So the next time you feel bored with the process, don't run, don't scroll, don't quit. Smile, because boredom is not the problem. It's the proof that you're on the path. Keep going. You're closer than you think. Number 4, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards. 600 words. Everyone loves to set goals. Big ones, bold ones. We write them down, post them on vision boards, and imagine the future they'll create. But here's the truth. No one wants to admit. Goals don't change your life. Standards do. You don't automatically rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits, your systems, and most of all, your standards. Goals are exciting. They make you feel good. They give you a sense of direction, but they're also cheap. Anyone can set a goal. Saying I want to get fit, or I want to be successful, is easy. But living with the standards that make those things happen, that's the real challenge. Your standards are your minimum. They're the behaviors you accept from yourself. even on your worst day. They're not dreams, they're non-negotiables. If you want to truly level up, you have to raise the floor, not just the ceiling. Let's break this down. Imagine two people with the same goal, to get in shape. One has a standard that says, I work out at least 3 times a week, no matter what. The other says, I'll work out when I feel like it or when my schedule allows. Which one is going to win in the long run? It's obvious. The one who treats consistency as a standard, not a suggestion. That's the power of standards. They remove decision making, they create clarity, and they establish your baseline, which becomes your identity. When your standards are low, you're always starting over. When your standards are high, progress is automatic. James Clear teaches that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Your standards are the emotional version of your systems. They dictate what you'll tolerate, what you'll pursue, and what you'll walk away from. They shape your behavior more than any goal ever will. Think of top performers in any field. They don't hope they'll be sharp. They demand excellence from themselves, day in and day out. They don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They let their standards lead. Here's the hard truth. If your current life frustrates you, it's not your goals that need to change. It's your standards. Somewhere along the way you settled. You lowered the bar. You accepted good enough. But greatness isn't built on comfort. It's built on demanding more from yourself, even when no one is watching. So how do you raise your standards? Get brutally honest about what you're currently tolerating. Mediocre effort, negative self-talk, missed commitments. Start calling yourself out. Define your new non-negotiables. Not lofty dreams, daily behaviors. What will you refuse to do anymore? What will you do no matter what? Act in alignment before you feel ready. Raise your standards now, not when it's convenient, not when it's easy. Growth never feels comfortable at first. That's the point, and don't confuse this with perfection. High standards don't mean you never fail. They mean you don't stay at the bottom. You miss a workout, you're back the next day. You slip on your diet, you don't spiral. Your standards pull you back up. This is how you separate from the crowd. Most people set goals and cross their fingers. You decide who you are, and you back it up with your actions. Not once, but every day. Because success isn't about having the most ambitious goals. It's about refusing to live below your potential. That's what standards are. And once you raise them, the world starts to rise to meet you. Number 5. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is undefeated. 600 words. Motivation feels good. It's electric. It makes you want to sprint into action and conquer everything in your path. But there's a catch. It disappears. One bad night of sleep, one tough day at work, one unexpected setback, and poof, motivation is gone. That's why the people who rely on it never win in the long run. They start strong, but they fizzle out. If you want to be successful, truly successful, you have to understand this truth. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Let's say you're fired up on Sunday night. You write your goals. You plan your meals. You set your alarm for 5 a.m. You feel unstoppable. But when the alarm goes off Monday morning, your bed feels warm. Your eyes are heavy. And that fire from last night, now it's just a flicker. In that moment, motivation won't save you, but discipline will. Discipline is showing up when you don't feel like it. It's doing the work, not because it's fun or exciting, but because you said you would. It's the silent force behind every consistent action, every tough decision, and every long-term victory. While motivation gets you started, discipline keeps you going. Here's the good news. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You just need to commit. You don't need to be in the mood to succeed. You need a system that makes action inevitable. James Clear put it perfectly. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. Discipline is what builds those systems, and make sure they run even when your motivation breaks down. Think of the people you admire, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the creators. You think they feel motivated every day? Of course not. They deal with fatigue, stress, fear, and failure, just like the rest of us. The difference, they act anyway. They don't wait for the perfect mood. They lead with discipline, and let motivation catch up when it shows up again. And here's the secret. Discipline grows stronger every time you use it. Each time you choose the workout over the excuse, the focus over the distraction, the action over the delay, you're training your mind, you're building grit, you're building trust with yourself, and over time those small decisions stack up into something powerful. That's what most people never understand. They think discipline is about restriction, about suffering, about grinding endlessly, but real discipline isn't about pain. It's about freedom, the freedom to live life on your terms, the freedom to do hard things now, so you can enjoy big rewards later, the freedom to look in the mirror and know you're doing the work, regardless of how you feel. So how do you build discipline? Lower the barrier to entry. Start small, 5 push-ups, 10 pages, 1 focused hour. Show your brain that action is always possible. Tie actions to identity. Don't just say, I'm trying to be healthy. Say I'm the kind of person who doesn't miss workouts. Your actions reinforce your identity, and vice versa. Track your streaks. Success loves momentum. Keep a visual reminder of your consistency. Don't break the chain. And most importantly, show up daily, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's hard. That's when it counts most. The world is full of motivated starters, but very few finishers. Be a finisher. Let discipline drive your actions and let results follow. You don't need more hype, you need habits. You don't need more energy. You need execution, because motivation will visit once in a while, but discipline will live with you forever. Number 6. Success demands a different identity. 600 words. Here's a truth that hits hard. You can't create a new life with the same old identity. If you want to experience a higher level of success, you have to become someone who lives at that level. Goals don't change your life unless you change. And real change starts with how you see yourself. This is the part most people skip. They set big goals, make more money, get fit, build a business, write a book. But deep down, they still think like the old version of themselves. They carry the same doubts, the same stories, the same habits, and they wonder why nothing sticks. Here's the truth. You will never outperform your self-image. If you see yourself as inconsistent, you'll act inconsistent. If you believe you're not a leader, you'll shrink from responsibility. If you think you're not good with money, you'll subconsciously sabotage your finances, even if you try hard to change. That's why success isn't just about behavior change. It's about identity change. James Clear says it like this. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. That means every time you make a disciplined choice, whether it's going to the gym, writing one page, making a sales call, you're not just moving closer to your goal, you're casting a vote for a new identity. You're becoming someone new. Want to build lasting success? Then stop asking what do I want to achieve, and start asking, who do I want to become? That question changes everything, because when you shift your focus from doing to being, you tap into something deeper. You're no longer chasing a goal, you're living from a new standard. You stop saying things like I want to eat healthier, and start saying I'm the kind of person who values health. That subtle shift unlocks a whole new level of power. Here's what most people get wrong. They try to act their way into success, while still identifying as someone who struggles. They say I'm not a morning person, then wonder why they can't stick to a morning routine. Or I've always been bad with discipline, and then feel frustrated when they can't build consistency. That inner narrative will always pull you back down, unless you rewrite it. So how do you build a new identity? Start with clarity. Decide exactly who you want to become. Be specific, not successful, but disciplined, focused, resilient, consistent. Audit your current identity. What are the beliefs, habits, and self-talk patterns that belong to the old version of you? Be ruthless. You can't take those into your next level. Act in alignment, even before you believe it. This is where the magic happens. You don't wait until you feel like the new version of yourself. You act like that person now. You show up as them. You behave like them. Repetition creates belief. This is why people who undergo true transformation often seem like different human beings. Because they are. They didn't just achieve something. They became someone else. Someone stronger, clearer, more powerful. They changed how they saw themselves, and the world responded accordingly. Here's the bottom line. Success isn't something you achieve. It's something you embody. It flows from identity. If you want more, you must become more. Not someday, not when the stars align, but starting today, with every decision, every action, every vote you cast for the person you're choosing to become. Because the old you got you here, but the next level, that belongs to someone else. Someone you're already becoming.